I am well. I'm very excited to be here. Thank you for having me on. So, my book is called Taboo Topics: Things Women Should Talk About But Don't. And I took a little bit different approach on this book. So, there's 24 chapters, and every chapter is its own topic, its own vignette. So, you can decide you want to start in chapter 3, chapter 11. It's all good. But one of the things that I hate, I'm a voracious reader, and I really hate reading business books that do a very good job of detailing the problem and then giving you absolutely no solutions. So you have to go find a book to solve the book. I really intentionally wanted to make sure that when I brought up the topic that I gave very clear next steps, ways to address all of that. So it's just designed around things that affect women in the workplace and at home, but it's just making us aware of things that we probably don't recognize we shouldn't be as tolerant of. Yeah. Okay, so let's get everybody on the same page so they know what we're talking about. In an average full time job, you're going to work roughly 2,000 hours in a year. Now, when we talk about non promotable labor, that is the planning of the meetings, fixing someone's PowerPoint, ordering the lunches, knowing who's allergic to what. It's all necessary work, but it's also work that disproportionately falls on women. And it falls on women to the tune of 200 hours in a year. That is 5 weeks of work of doing stuff that will not move your career ahead. And the way this affects you is that 200 hours gets added on top of your full time job. So you're already stressed and you got more on top of it. Or that's 200 hours of work completely not dedicated to work that affects the P&L, that affects the career discussion strategies, that affects the promotion discussions, all of that. And that 200 hours, most women don't even recognize they're doing it. Now, to add insult to injury, if you're a mom, there's almost another 550 hours of that at home. So you're looking at about 750 hours of work that is goes unnoticed unless it doesn't happen. It will not advance your career and it ends up sucking all of your energy out because you're always maintaining things for everyone else. It's another 520 hours specifically. Yep. Yep. Yes. Mhm. It first of all, as with anything in the world, it starts with awareness because there are things that in your job you just took on that somehow became part of your role, part of what you did that have nothing to do with your actual role or job. And so I need people to be aware of what's happening. And to get that awareness, you got to track it. So for a week, write down literally everything that you did, whether it is picked up a copy for Bob while I was at the printer, all the way to, registered my kids for softball again, if you want to include your home life, or it is the yet again reviewed someone else's deck that I didn't get credit for, yet again, every single thing. And the reason that you need to do that is because women only recognize about a third of the mental labor they're actually doing. And there's no way to start correcting it if you're not aware of the scope. And same as Molly said, once you start getting aware, you're going to get a little angry as you recognize all of the labor you're giving other people that's helping them in their promotion discussions, but it's not helping you. Mhm. First of all, thank them. Thank you so much. That is so great that you recognize my skills here. I'd be happy to help you improve yours. So why don't you take a first cut at it and then we can talk about it and I can give you some ideas. Do not take the ownership, own the knowledge and say how you will help them build theirs. Mhm. There's 2 things on that. One is not only do we want to be helpful, society expects us to be helpful. They expect women to raise their hand. They expect women to fill the void. And so there's this double-sided piece of it of you think you should do it and you also know society expects you to do it. So first of all, be aware of that because otherwise you might just be stepping into a lot of stuff that you don't need to. So that's step 1. Step 2, watch what the guys do. What are they volunteering for? What are they stepping up for? What are they saying? Oh, yeah, I would like to, because they unintentionally do a really good job of demonstrating the work that will help accelerate careers. Pay attention to what they're doing. And for your first 90 days, commit to nothing. Don't sign up for anything because at that point, I mean, make a joke. Hey, I'm still trying to find the bathrooms. I can't do that yet. Whatever it is, but don't sign up for anything for your first 90 days because you need to understand the lay of the land. You need to understand what's rewarded. You need to understand who it matters to be around. You need to get all of that figured out before you start stepping in. So give yourself permission to say no for 90 days because you've got to figure things out before you figure out, oh my God, I signed up to help a guy that everybody hates. You don't want that. Give yourself space. So just don't sign up for anything for that first 90 days and come up with a few different funny responses of, oh my gosh, you work here? I didn't even know that. You know what? I would love to connect with you and talk about these opportunities once I get my arms better wrapped around it. Just very kindly, but with a smile, push back, but don't take anything on for 90 days. Well, I talk about anything from menopause to the mental load to menstruation to pregnancy to lots of different things, but there's a lot of things in there that are through the work lens. So like how to optimize policies, how to talk about your compensation because a lot of women don't understand the difference between short-term and long-term compensation. So I break that down in there. So there's just lots of different topics in there and some are personal. So, like, there's a whole chapter in there about self care because a lot of women overlook components of self care because they think, oh, it's just taking a bath. Yes. And There's a lot more to it. It's financial self-care, it's mental self-care, it's all of these kinds of things. And it's just really about how we can bring our best self in total forward. And that means, maybe not doing some of the stuff we have been doing, or maybe pick differently and really making sure it's in service of what we truly want and desire. Absolutely. And if anybody wants to find me, you can find me at my website, which is www.innate-power.com. And I'd love to have a conversation with anyone. So I think you guys are also doing brilliant work because we need more women in all aspects of STEM, especially in finance. All right. Thanks, Molly.